Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to Sierra County, California, near a little town called Downeyville. This is a high-elevation area, with the town sitting at 2,918 feet high and nearby mountains stretching to over 7,000 feet. The continental climate here makes for hot, arid summers and cold, snowy winters. Sierra County is a popular spot for mountain bikers, anglers, and hikers. The Yuba River runs right through town and presents kayakers and rafters a shot at some summer excitement. The Lost Sierras is the name of the mountains around the town, and their boundary is larger than the state of Delaware. Wildlife abounds here, especially mule deer and waterfowl. The predators around Downeyville include bobcats, cougars, coyotes, and recently a pack of 3 wolves were found to have migrated here, likely from Idaho. Grizzly bears no longer wander these mountains, having last been spotted over 100 years ago. But black bears are making a big comeback, with some alarming results. Around the town of Downeyville, black bears have become a real problem. Residents don't seem to understand that leaving their trash out, feeding their pets outside, or leaving any food scents around their home is dangerous. Wildlife officials had to euthanize a black bear after it tried to break into a gymnasium at a school. Bears raid refrigerators and even take a dip in private pools whenever the weather's unbearably hot. Security cameras on homes have captured bears strolling through people's gardens and searching through trash bins. As soon as May began, the Sierra County Sheriff's Office was inundated with phone calls and reports of black bears breaking into houses, cabins, vehicles, and boldly standing their ground when confronted by people. This behavior was a harbinger of terrible things to come. Patrice Miller was a 71-year-old retiree who lived on her own, aside from her cats. She fed them outside on her porch and had been struggling to remove the trash from her property, given her mobility wasn't the best. Black bears took notice of the alluring and tempting scents around her property and had been boldly investigating, hoping for an easy meal. At one point, Patrice punched a black bear after it tried to enter her home. After that incident, she had metal bars placed over her windows just to make sure the bears couldn't get inside. Patrice was a regular at the local store, where she would pick up a few groceries and food for her cats every week. One of the clerks there knew Patrice quite well, and when she hadn't been in for a few days, decided someone needed a check on her. Patrice's neighbors reported the repeated presence of a black bear that had been entering and leaving Patrice's house several times. The sheriff's office was notified and agreed to perform a welfare check on Patrice by stopping by her home on November 8, 2023. As soon as deputies arrived, they noticed that Patrice's front door had been knocked from its casing. There were piles of bear scat with bloody bear tracks crisscrossing the deck. Entering Patrice's home, the deputies found a chaotic scene. There was furniture and random items strewn about with more bear scat and bloody tracks. Further into the home, the body of Patrice was located, or what was left of her. The bear that had entered the home had eaten a significant portion of her corpse, but was nowhere to be found. Given the information provided by neighbors and the amount of track evidence in the home, deputies estimated that the bear had been accessing Patrice's home for several days. The fact that it had been feeding off her body didn't necessarily mean that the bear had killed her. The deputies weighed the possibility of Patrice dying of natural causes, and the decay of her body being enough to bring the bear into her home. Her body was gathered up and sent to the coroner's office for forensic analysis while wildlife officials pondered what should be done with the bear. Given it had eaten human flesh, they knew the bear would affiliate human beings with food from now on. They decided they would need to set out box traps around Patrice's property and hopefully catch it to pull DNA from its claws for comparison to samples collected in her home. In California, it's difficult for wildlife officers to get a permit to kill a nuisance bear. The state has layers of bureaucracy and piles of red tape that have to be navigated before a cull order is approved. California Department of Fish and Wildlife regulations require that a property owner request a depredation permit to have a nuisance bear killed, but with the property owner, Patrice, having died, they initially denied the application. After 2 days, the trap was successful in capturing a black bear. At first, officers believed they had caught a female and would be required to release it, but after sedating the bear, a biologist was called in and determined the bear was a male. While under sedation, DNA was pulled from its paws and sent to a laboratory for analysis. After the DNA analysis, the male bear was deemed responsible for Patrice's death. Because the bear was a male, the cull permit was issued, and it was euthanized. For some time, Patrice's investigators considered it possible that she had died from natural causes, but after the coroner's analysis, it was noted that she had died from injuries sustained during a prolonged bear attack. For those of you wondering how they would know if Patrice had died of a sudden health issue as opposed to injuries from a bear, the telltale evidence is explained as follows. In the event of an internal injury like a heart attack or a stroke, the deceased person's blood remains in the body and coagulates, forming clots where it pools. In the event a person bleeds to death, this coagulation doesn't occur due to the loss of blood. After analyzing Patrice's injuries, they decided her fatal wounds were from paw slashes and bites to her neck, which caused her to lose blood and her life. Patrice's death is the first human fatality known to be caused by a black bear in California state history. State wildlife officials point out that 99.9% of black bears are not public safety hazards, but I point out that 0.1% is atypical and very deadly. Around 35,000 black bears are roaming the 50,000 square miles that make up the state of California, with a density of 1 black bear per 1.43 square miles, including urban areas. Patrice's death has led to wildlife authorities reconsidering black bear population management strategies, despite the numerous bureaucratic hurdles. With black bears weighing up to 500 pounds and populations now encroaching on the suburbs of Los Angeles, Californians are forced to balance personal safety and their appreciation of nature and activities in bear country. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Why didn't authorities intervene earlier, given all the problems Patrice had with nuisance black bears? Why wasn't she more boisterous with her fear of the bears and the dangers they presented to her? Should the neighbors have investigated after seeing the black bear enter Patrice's house the first time? Why are California officials so reticent to cull problem bears, like the bears that plagued Patrice? I will gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so please post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.